Thank you for being here. Functionally, every year the student leadership team does a presentation so that you know who we are and what we are about for the year. We represent the students. So, welcome, and thank you for joining us at the SLT Press Conference. I am joined by some super student seminarians who are serving the Bethany community and the whole student body. This cohort of super collaborators is known as the Seminary League, triumphant exclamation point, which of course operates under the more common alias of student leadership team. But don't be fooled by such a simple name. These students are flying about, hearing concerns, brainstorming parties, and serving the students of Bethany Theological Seminary. But there seems to be some confusion about what exactly this talented band of super seminary theologizing misfits does. So we're here to clear up those questions and concerns. Shortly, we will be taking any and all questions that you might have. But first, I'll introduce myself. As your press conference facilitator, the talented, the golden, the green, the delightful, that was in my script. Amy Ritchie, that is my more common alias. I am also known by other things. Some of you may know my cousin, Xena, warrior princess. Well, I am Amy, formational priestess. A defender of students in moments of angst. A beacon of hope in the second half of the semester. A ray of light that beams into the very soul of a student with laser-like precision to awaken the sleeping hero within. My role on the Seminary League triumphant exclamation point, I serve as faculty liaison, wisdom bringer, high counsel, and corporate memory. Unlike my cousin, Xena, who splits open the human heart, literally, with her sword and physical might, I use the power of words to create way where there is no way. Yes, I have a magical phrase, an incantation that will melt hearts and loosen tongues. That phrase is, I'll buy. But wait, there's more, because I am not your mother. And so I have a phrase to empower you, students, of your own inner truths. A phrase that you, the student, shall speak. 5 words that when spoken together turn innocuous coffee shops into confessionals, turn the bleary-eyed morning traveler into creative, collaborative visionaries. 5 words that when spoken together gives a student access to the elixir of life. These 5 words, this is on Amy's tab. We will now open for questions. Yes.
Yeah, excuse me. When exactly
Please say your name.
Oh, Brian, first year student.
Excellent.
I was just wondering, when do you all meet, and what do you do in those meetings anyway?
I think I can answer that question. I, on this team, am student, and I'm really privileged to be on this team. I don't actually have any superpowers myself. It's one of those cases where it's all in the suit. So Edna's working on one that will actually let me be in 2 places at once to meet all the responsibilities at once. But for now, I just have this current version that allows me to just keep going and going like a perpetual motion thing, because it turns all the sanity and sleep into more useful forms of energy. So the suit, as you can see, is the red and green and totally, completely transparent to my everyday clothes underneath, which is what's going to get back to your question. So for Seminary League triumphant to continue in its duties, exclamation point, of bringing peace and justice and righteousness and truth and all these things, we need the student leadership team, our alias, to be visible in the public eye. We need that team to be transparent, if you will, to everything we do. We meet bi-weekly on Fridays at 5:15, and we would love all the students to come and encourage that formation of a public face for the student leadership team. Those meetings will all be completely open. There may be some times when we have an executive session with in confidentiality for league business, but even the decisions from those meetings would be made public and available to all the students via a report maybe embedded in the weekly email of the president himself, or maybe in one of our own special reports that you'll be receiving as students. But seriously, what better do you have to do every other Friday evening to come rub shoulders with superheroes?
Yeah.
Thing is, if you show up, we're all going to have to be in alias. So at those meetings, I'll be Caleb Crocked. That's the name I have when I'm, just studying at the seminary, or raising a beautiful baby with my wife Allie across the way, or even serving as your peer writing aide for Bethany students, or I do love my board card, any kind of table games. For those scenarios, to fit that into the schedule and everything else, I might have the Stu Dadden suit back on, because those can be worked into any schedule. We'll get together for some good games.
Thank you.
Another question.
Yes. Raul, do you all represent the student body in any capacity in the meetings?
Yeah, I think I can take that one.
Great.
Yes, we do. In fact, we have at least 2 representatives on SLT. I am one of them. I go by the alias of Jonathan Stauffer, but when I'm not busy doing student representation, bringing your concerns to staff and faculty meetings, I am known as Nature Man. Artist rendering, right here. And I also have a special t-shirt on.
Take it off!
This is a family show after all. But yes, so I don't really have superpowers, but I have natural powers of good hearing and good sight to take in the wonders of God's creation. That hearing also helps to hear the student concerns, trying to analyze them in a accurate, proper way, bring those concerns and encouragements, and trying to help instill a better world, a better shalom at the campus life here at Bethany.
Thank you very much. Did he answer your question? Okay, good. Any other questions?
So could you tell me when is chapel and how do we know who's speaking?
Well, I think I can take that as a Sabbath dude. My job is to keep you all safe from workaholism and stress and anything that might keep you from taking a Sabbath once a week, maybe for an afternoon, maybe for an evening. So I will protect the community from workaholism this year. Chapel, we might learn something about Sabbath this year. Chapel will be most Wednesdays at 11:20 a.m. in Nycary. And we're going to not only go to chapel, but you're also invited to take what you learn about Sabbath and put it into practice. So you have an opportunity to join a Sabbath group. There's a sign-up sheet over there. And so if you have a Sabbath on the same day as someone else, I'll put you in contact with each other and you can decide what you want to do. Maybe a dinner or a game night.
Right. Sabbath dude. That's awesome.
How do we know who's speaking? There's a handy-dandy sign-up. I forgot. So there's a list of speakers and worship leaders and musicians, and the whole shebang is on the bulletin board by the front desk. And we'll also have a bio and a picture of whoever's speaking at the next chapel right by the front desk.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Yes. Karen.
Karen, do hi. Having been here for a while, it's clear to me that there's not enough for students to do. So what exactly is there for seminarians to do around campus besides study Chronicles? And who plans it?
Yeah, well, I think that I can answer your question. There is a committee called Community Life that is intended to plan activities for the whole community, not only to students, and not even to Bethany students, but also ESR students. And we hope to go to exciting and fun places, like jungle gyms, for example, or have movie nights, game nights, ice cream nights, maybe, attending cultural events, everything that is fun and exciting. And if you have some suggestion, please tell us. And also, I am also known as the peacemaker. And the peacemaker, he has no superpowers, but he has a strong vision and a strong commitment to bring peace and to not only solve conflicts, but to transform conflicts. And if you need him to a small conversation or a face-to-face conversation, you can do that. But if you need him to solve a conflict in a small crowd, he can do that also, because he also brings his megaphone. Yeah, and if you need the peacemaker, please call him.
Thank you. We have time for, I think, just one more question. Yes.
I'm Karen Garrett with the Journal Brother Life and Thought, and I'm beginning to think I'm the only member of the press here. And we are also known as BLNT, and my question is, isn't there a meal after this press conference? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
I think this is a question for No Waste Girl. So I am committed to protecting the seminary from creating unnecessary waste. So one of the ways that we can do that is at Common Meal almost every Wednesday. And so instead of using disposable plates, we can use our own dishes, which we have in the cabinets, which are awesome. And so Common Meal is every Wednesday, and it's either a catered, a potluck, or a brown bag. And since we use our own plates, you can also volunteer to wash them, which is awesome. We can all roll up our sleeves and lend a hand in doing that and create community in that way. And we also have joint Common Meal if we don't have our own Common Meal that week. And so joint Common Meal will be in the ESR building with our ESR friends. And it will be a couple times. And we host sometimes by opening with prayer and cleaning dishes. So sometimes we host, even though it's over there. It's a little confusing. And my alias is Katie Cummings, and I'm a second-year MDiv student, and I enjoy running for fun and living frugally. And another one of my aliases is as the Thrifty Theologian, managing the Thrifty Theologian blog. So if anybody wants to talk about living thrifty, come see me.
Okay, well, thank you. These are really fine members of the they're super members of the Seminary League triumphant exclamation point. But we also have some others who are at a distance. We have Invisiwoman, Sarah Neer, who is here, but she's not, and you'll see her, but then you won't see her. And she lives in McPherson, where she is working at McPherson College while she is working on her Bethany MDiv degree. We also have the Flying Skirt, not to be confused with the Flying Nun. Anyway, so her alias is Tabitha Rudy, and she lives in Roanoke, Virginia, with her husband Dan, who is also a graduate of Bethany, and their two cats, Frederick and Morris. And she likes to garden and create things, and she looks forward to being on SLT and offering a new perspective to things as another connection student. She is starting her third year as an MDiv student at Bethany, the Flying Skirt. And then we also have, hold up the picture. We have Theology Man. The photo is from the scene in the movie Hot Shots, in which a brief, am I supposed to read this? A brief parody of Superman features our hero, Topper Harley, flying through the night with his special lady and attracting a dove to perch on his hand. The T is for theology, and the dove is a symbol of peace and the Holy Spirit, all of which ought to go hand in hand. So the alias for Theology Man is Joel Gibble. He is a third-year student, though going on 6 calendar years of being a part-time student, living in the thriving metropolis of Lidditz, Pennsylvania. He works as an engineer by day, fearlessly changing into ministry mode when called upon to save the day or to help out with church work. And he studies theology by night. He is married with 2 kids, and he loves to fly down the interstate highways to Richmond whenever intensives call, and he especially enjoys spending time with fellow students when in town. He aspires to assist the student leadership team with administrative tasks and planning insight, offering his experience as a connection student into student life and ministry. Whew. I trust that all students can find meaningful ways to connect with seminary life and one another, whether near or far from the metropolis of Richmond. So these last 3 represent our students who hold full-time jobs, live a great distance from the seminary, and traverse through time to come to school here. They give a flavor we just can't find in Richmond. Speaking of flavor, I think it's time for lunch. So this concludes our Seminary League triumphant exclamation point, press conference exclamation point. Thank you for your questions, exclamation.
So as is custom at Common Meal, we circle up and share joys and concerns and pray together. And since this is kind of crowded today, let's gather on the bricks in the entryway.